Hello FPL managers and welcome back to another video from myself, Will, and fantasyfootballhub.co.uk. As always, we're going to be taking a brief look back at how my team got on in the previous game week before moving on to my team, my transfers and my captain ahead of game week 5. Let's get into it. If you're new around here, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. This is effectively a diary of my team as we go through the season, tracking the highs and plenty of lows along the way. We also currently have a 7-day free trial on Fantasy Football Hub membership, so if you are interested in that, then make sure to check out the link in the description and in the information card above. So last game week I took a -4. I took out Sidney Cass, I took out Bruno Fernandes, and I took out Danny Ings. In came Livramento, Jota and Ronaldo. So overall slightly up on that -4. Obviously Ronaldo there coming in with a brace and the 13-point haul as captain. Very, very pleased with him. It was a very, very last minute decision. I wanted to see if there were any leaks that Ronaldo may start, and there were. One reliable leak, so I decided to go with him as captain. If I hadn't got that leak, I probably wouldn't have transferred him in. I probably would have gone for Lukaku, who, as it turned out, got a brace as well. So, you know, both of those were really strong options. I do slightly prefer Ronaldo just over the next 2 game weeks because of the slightly preferable fixtures that Man United have over Chelsea. Diego Jota, you know, a little bit unlucky just to come away with the 3 points. You know, he had a couple of opportunities. But, you know, looking very, very threatening. He's, you know, spearheading the Liverpool attack at just 7.6 million. I think he's going to be a fantastic option. Obviously, you know, monitoring the Firmino situation. If he does come back into the side, then Jota will be less good of an option, but he still will be a good option. So I'm not going to be sort of rushing to take him out. Okay, so looking at the team and how it's lining up for the upcoming game week, and the big question mark there is Antonio and whether I'm looking to transfer him out. Ordinarily, I probably would hold on to him. So he's only out for 1 game week. Plus, he's got Leeds and Brentford to follow. So some pretty decent fixtures after that. I've also got Luke Ayling. That's, you know, probably the guy that's going to come into my team. He's got Newcastle away. He's looking pretty good from like an attacking point of view. So, I'd be happy to play Ayling in that fixture. Okay, so this is the man that I am strongly considering, Patrick Bamford. His numbers to date have not been particularly impressive. His goals, his assists, etc. have not been particularly impressive. But the thing that I do like about them, and if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I am very much a fixtures guy, and these fixtures from now for quite some time are very, very impressive. In fact, we can go a little bit further ahead here and just look at them, you know, from game week 5 to game week 9. Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves, a fantastic, fantastic run of fixtures. For me personally, I'm likely to wildcard in game week 7, which means it'll just be in for the Newcastle and West Ham matches. But, you know, if I do decide that I like him, he could certainly remain in my wild card. If I don't decide to wild card, then, you know, again, great fixtures to have going forward. I guess the attractiveness of him is just, you know, these next 2 fixtures and the fact that Antonio is out. If I do think that I am going to wild card in game week 7, then, you know, Antonio is going to miss 50% of those matches, even though it's only just 1 game week. So Antonio to Patrick Bamford is something that I am strongly considering. As I said, you know, ordinarily I wouldn't consider removing Antonio. He is the highest scoring player in the game. He's got incredible numbers. He's got great fixtures following his suspension as well. So all the indications there are that, you know, Antonio is probably a hold. But for me personally, in my situation, likely to wildcard in game week 7, although it's not sort of locked in. Patrick Bamford is looking like a very, very appealing option. One slight word of caution around him is that there has been a couple of rumours that he's got a hamstring injury. I don't really know what to say about that at the moment. My hunch is that they're probably incorrect, but you just never know with these, you know, type of rumours. Hopefully Bielsa, you know, he's usually pretty candid, usually pretty open about these things. So he's one that, you know, I'm going to be paying close attention to the press conferences again this week. And again, it's going to be a transfer which I leave to the last minute. But, you know, just to highlight that, I think that Bamford is a very, very strong option. This is the Fantasy Football Hub predicted points for game week 5 to game week 7 for forwards. As you can see there, Ronaldo coming out on top. So yeah, very happy to have him in my side. Interestingly there, you know, Vardy, Jimenez and Kane all making the top 5. Players which, you know, people aren't necessarily considering. I think that Kane, obviously his numbers aren't good at the moment. Spurs didn't look particularly good at the weekend, to say the least. but I do think that he's going to be an option going forward as well. Lukaku there, one that, everyone was talking about. He's a little bit lower down. That's simply because, Chelsea's next 2 fixtures are pretty tough. But, certainly, as I mentioned from Game Week 7, I'm very, very much in my thoughts. As you can see, though, Bamford coming in second there at just 7.9 million, predicted to score 18.1 points over the next 3 games. So, although his numbers aren't that impressive, although he hasn't got a lot of goals to his name to date, as I've said plenty of times, it's not past points we care about, it's future points potential. And, Bamford, incredible fixtures, proven FPL asset, spearheading a Leeds attacking side on penalties. He's got a lot going for him, and of course he's a very similar price to Antonio, and I'd need him just for the short term. Potentially he could be a longer term pick as well, but all those sort of factors making me lean towards sort of an Antonio to Bamford transfer. Elsewhere, I think the team is looking okay. I know a lot of people wildcarded last game week. I know some people are thinking of wildcarding tonight. By the way, I'm on the Green Arrow tonight with Adam Hotcroft because Fergie is away. So if you're interested in a podcast, and I think Adam Hotcroft is thinking about wildcarding, so be interested to see his thoughts, be interested to see his wildcard draft if you are thinking of wildcarding. For me though, I think the team is perfectly good and perfectly solid enough to hold on for a couple more game weeks. I think if I were to wildcard, I would probably get rid of, Rafinha, Benrahma and Greenwood. So that's a chunk of my midfield. Rafinha, he just doesn't seem, as attacking, as threatening as he was last season. As I said, Leeds have some fantastic fixtures, so he's certainly a good one to hold. But if I were to wildcard, he probably wouldn't be included in my team. Benrahma, with Antonio out, I don't particularly fancy him this game week. But again, he's certainly not a bad pick, and I'm happy to sort of hold him in my side. Greenwood, I just think that his output is going to diminish with Ronaldo in the side. He's still going to tick along with points as he saw at the weekend. He managed to get an assist. But yeah, as a long-term asset, especially when United's fixture turn, it's probably not somebody that I'm looking to hold on to. I also think that if I were to wildcard, I'll probably switch to a 3-4-3 formation. I do think that, Ronaldo and Lukaku are looking very, very strong at the moment. Plus somebody like a Bamford or like an Antonio, I think is probably the ideal setup up top. Trying to fit, Ronaldo, Lukaku, Salah and Trent into a wildcard team, I think has its challenges, and I haven't seen a team yet that, I really like with those 4 in it. So, I think that's going to be the challenge when I do come around to wildcarding. I think from Game Week 7, there is an argument to say, don't go with Ronaldo, just go with, Lukaku, Salah and Trent, and have sort of a more balanced squad. But, if Ronaldo keep popping the goals in, it's going to be very, very difficult to do that. So yeah, quite a few question marks at the moment in terms of, a potential wildcard team, which is really the reason why I'm not wildcard. I'd like to see, a couple more game weeks of data. And of course, there is that big fixture swing, as I've mentioned plenty of times, from Game Week 7 onwards. In terms of captaincy, I think Salah's, the obvious pick there. So though Salah's been getting the FPL returns, his stats actually have dropped off a little bit this season. And, if you compare him to someone like Mane, who usually isn't as good sort of from a statistical point of view, he doesn't tend to get as many shots off. Mane is actually getting a lot more shots off than Salah. So, that does make me a little bit worried, but at the end of the day, it's Crystal Palace and it's Salah and he's on penalties. So I'm probably not going to overthink this one and just go with Salah. Ronaldo is obviously the other captaincy shout. I do think the West Ham defence is pretty solid on the whole, but it's Ronaldo, so he could certainly score and certainly do very, very well. So that's it from me. As I said, I am going to be on the Green Arrow podcast tonight with Adam Hotcroft. So if you are interested in that, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. If you did enjoy this video, then please do drop it a like. But otherwise, good luck for the upcoming game week, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.